Hello, friends. How's everyone doing today? It's time for, I don't know if I want to call it like Sunday comic book church, but I want to be like, can I get a hallelujah?
Can we
Because
get a
it's Sunday.
hallelujah?
Can we get a hallelujah? Because it is Sunday morning, and I was telling Mars backstage, I woke up and chose violence because I'm like, I'm gonna do an energy drink first thing this morning because it's 8:30 here.
Which
So
is okay because I also chose violence and messed up a whole bunch of stuff and caught a cactus in my hands. And so now I'm picking out pins and needles. So it's a lovely Sunday for us, you guys.
So like literally this morning, like we both chose violence this morning, and you chose just like straight up blood sacrifice this morning.
Straight
So
up blood sacrifice, but at least it's to the earth and to the plants and to the cacti. So,
there you go.
all for a good cause.
All for the cause, folks. I do want to say hello to our usual friends in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to Travis because Travis is always here first. And if you aren't already following Travis, Travis, I gave you moderator powers. Please post your own link in the chat. In the morning Mars, and then Ruben Guzman, Cowabunga, and then lovely Sheena, who one day is going to join us. I keep telling Sheena, I'm like, you're gonna join us
It's gonna
sometime. It's
happen.
gonna happen. And then of course we've got Comic Girl. Call L83. How are you doing today? Rogue Trader. I noticed this comment earlier. Prepping for D&D tonight. That is very exciting. I think
I
you
also have D&D tonight that I have not prepped for, and I'm fully convinced that my DM is just going to kill me.
I feel like as someone who typically does DM, I love the chaos of it, but anytime I play, I do play like total chaotic neutral
I'm
character, and
just
that's how I live my life too. So,
I'm just absolutely terrible when creating my characters. Like, I could tell you everything about the character I have. When
mhm,
it comes to the numbers and creating my character sheet, I'm
mhm.
just like, I am baby. Please just fill it out. I don't care what it is. This is what I want to do. I can't do math. So, I am the worst D&D player, but also the best.
To me, I feel like the way that I DM, I'm just like, whose D&D campaign is it anyways? It is all made up and the points don't matter. So let's just play it and have fun. Um, Bookish Realm, good morning. Good morning. Let's see here. Going through. Hello, Todd, Christian. I'm always so worried if I'm going to miss people. Um,
Because there's so
Eric,
many of y'all. Like,
there
we
really
went from
is.
having maybe like 10 people in the chat at a time to now it's like we can't even keep track of y'all. So thank you all, I guess, just for
I
your
like it though.
support.
I
Yeah, it's
love that
awesome.
though.
Like thank you for your support and for spending your Sunday mornings with us when you should be laying in bed and sleeping until God knows when.
Unless like you're laying in bed and watching us, because I'm not gonna
I
lie, that
approve of
is,
that.
I approve of that. That's like actually like exactly how I wake up on Saturday mornings and watch John's comics with kids, and like eating a bagel, and then like sometimes my partner will just like bring me a bagel, and I'm like, this is life.
This is the dream.
Good morning, Julie. John Thomas, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Mars, love the shirt. Travis says. Let's see here. Fantastic girl. Hello, good morning. And then everyone please go sub up to Travis. He's absolutely fantastic. Good morning, comic fam, says James Phelp. Slotted up 503. Good morning. Another Oregon person. And oh no.
There's so many she's lost track, guys.
Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze and then it didn't come out. And it moved. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out here while I do this. And then simply Ian. I almost thought it said simply fan, and I'm like, is that like an OnlyFans but for simps? I don't know. Sorry, simply Ian.
Isn't that
Um,
what OnlyFans is though? Is
it's a
it
simp.
for
It's
Sims?
for simps, but then okay, sorry, that makes me a simp. Because pay sex workers. I'm just gonna say that right here. Good morning, everyone. This wonderful Sunday morning where we say pay sex workers. um, hello, BJ, and hello, Dylan. Let's see here. Do 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 do
I
do.
apparently have a friend because I looked down and realized that there is a little ladybug on my shirt. So, little
Oh,
ladybug, I need you to go somewhere else. Thank you.
good morning, Cat Fam. Um, so I think that ladybug is now a refugee because of the plants that you destroyed its habitat. You literally like
I didn't destroy the whole thing. Listen here,
Godzilla through their city.
don't make me. Okay, I like that analogy, but do not make me out to be a murderer. There you go, little ladybug. Off you go.
All right. I think I got everyone in the chat. So hello. If I missed you, I am so sorry. But we've got a lot to talk about. So
It is
I
a
think
big
it's a
show
big,
this week.
yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about comics that we read last week. I have a whole stack here. This is actually like some variants and some other stuff I'm going to send out to some people, but that's a lot of what I picked up this week. We're going to talk about all of the first issues and like series that came out in March. We're finally going to do that wrap up, and then we're going to go in straight into some like previews and things that we're excited for in June.
June, yeah. So usually we do this the last show of the month, but last week was Easter, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if we both just had bad brain where we didn't realize that it was the last show of the month, and we got off stream and we're like, oh shit, we didn't do March wrap-ups, we didn't do previews, so we're going to kick off the start of the month with that. It's a normal routine for our show, so if you're new here, you are in for a treat. Get your pen and paper ready, because we have comics that you will need to pre-order for sure.
Yep, for sure. There's going to be a lot. Saying hello to a couple other people. Hello, Fable. Hello, Chaos. How is everyone doing today? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what came out last week. There were a couple things that you read. What did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy?
A couple things. I think we should just start off with like my favorite consistent book, and that is Hollow Heart number 2 from Volt Comics. If you're new to the show, this is one. I don't like to speak for Jen, but I like to think
100%.
is that the variant?
That's the it's the Jen Hickman
variant.
Gorgeous.
Oh, I am jealous.
I love Jen Hickman, so
it is gorgeous. So Hollow Heart is one of our favorite titles, I think, consistently, even though it's only been 2 issues. It is a queer monster romance story from Volt Comics, and this issue got a little spicy.
It did.
It got very spicy without getting spicy. So we got to see some explicit behavior without necessarily being explicit.
Are you referring to what it feels like is like Mateo is reaching into Elle's chest cavity, innards, and Elle like feels something. I didn't take it as like dirty or naughty as much as like you are literally pulling at my heartstrings. But now that you
see, I took it the opposite.
I mean, but obviously, like it, like awoke something in Elle, and so this. I mean, obviously, like from the start of Hollow Heart, I think that the beauty of the writing is that we automatically like connect with this character. So it's not like we're like, oh, it's a villain, and we're all of a sudden we're connecting. Like literally from the start, we're connecting with this character. So.
And I really like how the beginning of this issue as well sort of gave us a story about like this really weird twisted story that kind of relates in with the rest of the book. So with the first issue, we saw a whole story about a kid and his goldfish, and he lost the goldfish, got a new goldfish. This issue is a little bit different, and it's about a woman who sings at a church, and then she loses her church group but then continues to sing, and then one day somebody walks in on her singing, and she decides after that she's no longer going to sing. And it's like these sort of really creepy moments. And I feel like it almost feels like Haha or Ice Cream Man in a way, where we get these like inner stories. So I feel like it's going to be a consistent theme, and it makes me kind of excited to see what the next issue, like what that story is going to be. Because it's almost a story within a story that somehow ties everything together and stretches throughout the overall theme of the whole issue.
Oh, for sure. Like I feel like it ends up getting like it's like poetry to me, where it gives us this like little philosophical like sprinkling. Like you said, the first issue goes into this like story about a goldfish dying and how it ends up getting replaced, and obviously like the theme of the book is like a Frankenstein-y type like monster robot. So
exactly.
Yep. Yeah, 100% agree. Hollow Heart.
If you're not picking up this book, please do it, because it's so great, and I feel like it's only going to continue to get better. And I can already say it's probably going to be one of my favorite books of the entire year.
Yeah, like I'm, thinking about my I know it's only 4 months in, but I'm already thinking about my 2020 wrap up or 2021 wrap up, and easily Hollow Heart. Yeah,
is going to be on there.
Yep,
100%.
Even if it ends up going down a little bit, I'll still be love it.
It's just the premise. It's a good one, and it's one we haven't seen. So, yeah, definitely love Hollow Heart.
Another one of the books that I know that we both read, I got 2 covers, and I'm trying to find the other one. Okay, there we go. And for me, that is Silver Coin.
Oh, look, I got a different one.
I know that was the one cover that I ended up not getting. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying not to.
She's trying not to spend all that money.
I'm trying not to spend all the money, or at least, I think if I end up spending a little bit less each time, then maybe I'll just save up one day and get the next grail that I think I'm going to get is definitely going to be House of Mystery, or sorry, House of Secrets 92. So I definitely need that Swamp Thing. But anyways, Silver Coin, Image Comics.
Do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I did really enjoy this. I do want to say that I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that these are individual stories, because I feel like if I had to read an entire series of this just based off this first one, I would be like, meh. So I'm really glad that this is going to be new and different each month.
Anthology.
It's an anthology, and it's a limited series. So basically this first one is, there is this band in the 70s or 80s, I guess. I don't know if that was made clear. But they end up finding this silver coin, or the bassist or guitarist ends up finding this silver coin, and he can play real good when he
wields the silver coin.
When he wields the silver coin, because he just happened to find it as a pick. And so he goes into this state where he's being possessed by it. I don't know if you read the book Knock 'em Dead by Aftershock Comics about the stand-up comedian, but it reminded me of that.
Okay.
So like I said, I thought it was really interesting. I really love Chip Zdarsky, so of course I'm going to pick this up, but I'm really glad that the next one is going to be written by someone else, because I'd like to see where it goes next. Was it as strong as Haha or Ice Cream Man? I really don't think so, but that's okay.
Oh man, now I feel bad coming after. I did not like this at all. I was really excited for this because it's a horror anthology, and horror anthologies are my jam. I am on record of saying horror works best when it is an anthology, because it doesn't wear out its welcome. Looking at this one in particular, being an anthology 1-issue story, it was way too long for build up. It works. The buildup I could see if it was a series and it was 5 issues about this band. The fact that we didn't actually see anything happen until the last 5 or so pages, I was kind of bored. I'm I don't want to read this anymore. Personally, I don't like Chip Zdarsky when he starts to go serious and he starts to go a little dark. Now I can't speak on behalf of Daredevil, because that is on my stack to read. But when I think about another book he recently did with Image Comics, Stillwater, I feel like that book did not do that well. And that was a very serious horror take. So I feel like maybe Chip Zdarsky should just stick to superheroes. And if he's not doing superheroes, maybe the funnies, because Sex Criminals is fantastic and one of my favorites. But like you were saying, this is an anthology, and we do get a sneak peek of the next issue, which is done by Kelly Thompson, whom I love.
Yep.
And it's like a 1980s horror slasher. They show a little preview of that, and that is my absolute jam. I love slashers. I love, 80s horror, and I love Kelly Thompson. So I'm like, I might have to pick up issue 2 because it is an anthology. But I was not a fan of the Silver Coin. And like you said, compared to books like Haha and Ice Cream Man, which are other horror anthologies that we're seeing, this doesn't even come close to hitting their mark at all.
Yeah, I think that what Image is trying to do right now, because of the success of Ice Cream
I
Man,
was
they're
going to
like
say, do you think they're trying to capitalize off of it?
100%. I do think that they are, and I think that and I think that they are also trying to bring in some creators that they're like, well, we don't necessarily want to give you a whole series. Let's just go ahead and give you like one tiny little. We're going to give you like an anthology, and I do think that there's been a moment for a while for nostalgia, and I think a lot of that has been like deep 80s nostalgia, especially with things like Stranger Things and
Mm-hmm.
what was that sci-fi movie or book a couple years ago, Ready Player One. So I think that like this whole nostalgia train is here to stay. And I think that was their intention with this. Like, hey, let's do something that's horror anthology. Oh, cool. Let's go ahead and like make it in like, the 70s and 80s and stuff. Okay, who do we want to write it? Let's not give one writer the reins. Let's do a bunch of other writers. Um, that's how I imagine these things happen. So
Exactly.
I was not a fan of Stillwater. So even though I really do enjoy Chip Zdarsky, so there is a part of me where I'm like, I really wanted to like this. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So
That's fair.
yeah. What else was on your read list this week?
So I picked this up on a whim. It was not on my pull list, but our shop had a copy and it was one I had been going back and forth on, and I managed to pick it up, and it ended up being my favorite book. My second favorite, because I think I have another one that's my favorite, but that is Sensational Wonder Woman #2. So first of all, the artwork in this is Bruno Redondo, and
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know, Bruno Redondo recently did the newest Suicide Squad book with Tom Taylor. So
Okay.
the way that he draws people is already like, thank you, I love this. He's also on the Nightwing book right now, and seeing him draw beefy fucking Amazon ladies, like, listen, this man is the gift that just keeps on giving. This is another anthology series, and when I say that, man, I think Wonder Woman might work best when it comes to anthologies. I really do. I mean, that being said, I absolutely love the current run that's going on right now with Becky Cloonan. And we talked about that earlier in the month, but I feel like Wonder Woman is one of those characters and storylines where I feel like it can get drawn out and very convoluted. So I
Yeah.
think her working in these one-shot issues work out best. The first issue, we saw her in the 1950s, and we'll talk more about that later on in the show with the wrap-up. This one is they end up going to Battle World, which is owned by Mongol, and she gets a distress call from Artemis, and it's like them having this big gladiator fight to the death sort of thing. It's very action-packed, very great. Again, it's gorgeous. Like, the way that the characters are drawn is absolutely gorgeous. The fight sequences are great, and it was just kind of like a fun time. When I think about how the story is and the concept of the story, if it was done in like a normal 4 or 5 issue arc, it would have been very boring and very trodden. But I feel like with it being one issue, I'm having fun. It doesn't stay its welcome or overstay its welcome, and that's it. We're on to the next one, and I freaking love this. It's the Sensational Wonder Woman. I might have to add it to my pool list, because right now we are 2 for 2 in terms of really great storylines. So I don't know. I'm having a lot of freaking fun with Wonder Woman right now. I really
Man,
am.
I feel like I really liked the first one, and I didn't pick up the second one. I'm not sure if it was just like a huge week for me and I just started like grabbing, and that was one of the things that I forgot to grab. But now I feel like I need to go back, and because if I picked it up, I definitely didn't read it, so I'm gonna need to read it.
Do you know what this book reminds me of now that I'm thinking about it? This book reminds me of the first arc of Red Sonja written by Gail Simone, when it's her and her like blood sister, Dark Anise,
Yeah.
and the foiling between the two, where you have Red Sonja, who's very like brave and honorable and this and that, and you get that as Wonder Woman, and then you have Artemis, who's a foil almost for Dark Anise or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And she's very heartstrong, very like, I'm here to kill people, like I'm here to show that I'm the best warrior. And it felt like a Red Sonja story again, and I've been kind of missing that. So if you're a fan of Gail Simone's Red Sonja, and you want some Wonder Woman, pick that up.
Yeah. For sure. I do really quick have to say about this comment. BJ said, "Let's destroy her like button." That's the only thing a girl wants to hear early Sunday morning is just destroy. Sorry, I had to get really filthy with it. So, really quick, because we're talking about uh, um, decorum, and we were talking about Robbie's pick for the week was Silver Coin, and apparently Robbie and I, even though we have a couple of similar opinions, we have some that are very different, and decorum is one of them. I'm not liking decorum whatsoever. Uh, Decorum is very simple. Apparently, it's too simple for me. I don't know. I'm the one making it way too much, apparently. But I don't really. I love Hickman, but I didn't love Decorum. Was there any other DC that you read this week? Because I think that I read a couple.
There was no other DC. I only have, I have all indie stuff after this.
Okay, let me see. I'm just gonna pull out my DC really quick. Oh, that's kind of weird. I'm gonna pull out my I'm gonna pull out my DC really quick. Let's see what I got. Okay, I can go ahead and put all of those aside. Perfect. So, I got a couple of copies of this for whatever reason. But Batman 107, once again, this is like the aftermath of whatever the hell has been going on in Gotham with the Joker wars. Surprisingly, I actually really did enjoy this. There's also a backup story with Ghostmaker, which I thought was, kind of fun, not too bad. We do get to see Harley in this for a little bit, and I'm actually enjoying the relationship between Oracle and Batman in this. So it's really not too bad. Next issue 108 is supposed to be the first appearance of Miracle Molly, who apparently is stealing my look, or maybe I'm stealing Miracle Molly's look, so I'm going to have to pick that one up, and probably all the dumb bitch variant covers. So I don't know what I would rate this, but it's just kind of a fun read. I'm not taking anything Batman too seriously right now, so
I still need to read the Tynan stuff. I've been waiting for our local library to get in the collected editions, and right now, for whatever reason, they only have them in digitally, and I'm like, I don't like reading digital. I just want a book that I can take with me and open and read. So I might have to fight with my local library and tell them they need to stop doing digital and get more physical.
I agree, and I think that when it comes to digital, for me personally, I will read it. Like, I subscribe to a couple, Marvel, DC, and Comixology Unlimited. But I usually read them very casually. It's like, okay, I have a couple of seconds. Let me go ahead and just like I think there was one morning or a couple of mornings where I read the House of M series really quick. And so if it's something casual like that, I'm like, okay, I'll read it. But when it comes to new books, it's really hard for me. And I feel like I can read single issue digitally, but I get distracted. So if I'm reading digitally and I get a message that comes through or something, I'm like, oh, shiny, and just scroll brain.
See, I'm that way too, but I also get a migraine if I read too long and I'm staring at a screen too long. So that's why I prefer paper, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And to Bookish Realm's point, Batman's Second Son, I did pick this up. It's featuring the Tim and the Jaces and all of them, and I thought this was interesting. I think that this is going into a lot more family dynamics than we ever saw any other Batman story go into.
See, my shop didn't get any, so I didn't, or maybe they did get them, and by the time I got to the shop, they all sold out, in which case, great. But I didn't get a chance to read it.
Really? It wasn't like, it's not bad. I can see why a lot of people don't like this Batman, and I don't want that to seem like it's coded racism for people not liking this Batman, because
but obviously it's not there. But here's the thing, it's not even necessarily coded racism.
Yeah.
Batman fans, and I say this wearing a Batman shirt, hardcore Batman fans, if there is the slightest change in their continuity and their continuum, it doesn't matter who it is, they will get upset. So,
with the exception of like Joker War and Metal and all of these things, that's where the suspension of disbelief ends. But saying that, I can see how this is not people's Batman. And this is definitely a very stylistic change. However, I'm liking it. And it's one of 4 series. I think that that is a smart move on their part to make it limited and to just like let people dip their toes into this Batman. And I think that if you go in thinking the same way that when I first saw that Ben Affleck was announced as Batman, I'm like, that's stupid. Like, Ben Affleck should never be Batman. But then I'm like, well, in all reality, it doesn't matter who plays Batman. It matters who's playing um, Bruce Wayne, right? So this isn't Bruce Wayne. Anyways, I enjoyed it. I don't know a numbering system. Maybe a 11 out of 14. Who knows? It's all made up. The points don't matter.
Points don't matter.
Points don't matter. It's 1 out of 4. It's really not too big, in my opinion, too big of an investment. Last DC book on my list.
What you got?
You know,
of course,
Swamp
of
Thing.
course.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the first issue, but this book is getting really deep, really personal. I can definitely see how Ramvi is making this like Swamp Thing to me has always had like a mythos, but I think that he's really expanding on it and really making it personal. So obviously, love Swamp Thing, love this new one. There's a kind of nod in the back where there's this, spoiler alert, file that's like the Holland Protocol. So a nod to Alec Holland, and I'm really curious to see where that goes.
I think it's interesting that they are bringing Poison Ivy into the book, as we've seen from future covers and solicitations, because to me, I feel like Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing are a character that go hand in hand, but yet I feel like those are characters we don't see together often enough. Like, I feel like we saw them in Injustice, the Injustice universe and the Injustice comics, and that was it. So I'm going to trade weight Swamp Thing. Like, we've already established I'm trade weighting Swamp Thing, but the idea that Poison Ivy's coming into it makes me really excited. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on Swamp Thing. So Jen doesn't kill me.
I understand, I guess, even though I understand that it breaks my heart.
Money is hard. We're just going to say that. Money and books and space are hard.
I definitely understand that 100%, especially because, and maybe, I don't know if we'll talk about this now or if we should talk about it later, but I'm like looking for my copy of it and I don't see it readily, but I did end up reading 7 Secrets. Do you want to go ahead and
I guess we're segueing?
We've got some Marvel to talk about, but first, let's just go into 7 Secrets. So
I want to hear your thoughts as somebody who finally read 7 Secrets after I have been begging for months and months and months. I want to hear about your thoughts on 7 Secrets.
So here's my thing. I think I read 7 Secrets #1, and I call that my DAP week. So if we know what WAP is, WAP, I had a very DAP week with comics, and 7 Secrets #1 came out that week. I read it. I hated it. I trashed it. I tried to read issue #2 and I just didn't like it. And I don't know if it's because I was just tired of like literally everything that I was reading. But I'm like, 7 Secrets. Oh, one of the secrets, she's pregnant. But so I will say,
I love
like,
that.
Literally, like that was mood for the day. But it was everything that I read that week. So I didn't pick it back up. I really tried, and well, maybe I didn't. But I know that you really enjoyed 7 Secrets. I know it was like your favorite book or one of your favorite books for last year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I trust Mars' opinion. So I read, I literally, so I picked up the trade last week. I ended up picking up issue #7, and I read the entire thing in like 20 minutes, and I am like, why did I not read this? Why did I not go back and give it like a third chance? I really, really did like it a lot. At first, I think when you said that it was like Saga, I'm like, ew. Like,
because it's like, how do you
exactly
compare anything to Saga? And especially when you had such a bad experience with issue 1, I could see you being like, how dare she? Like, that's
How dare
blasphemy.
you? Yeah. So those are my thoughts on it. I really, really
It's a
enjoyed
fun book.
it. Really is. And seriously, I can see how it was one of your favorites last year. So I do wish that I had picked it up continuously. I wish that I had like maybe just gone in and tried to read it another time when my mindset was different. But I think I just had a really crappy week that week and nothing was good.
But I also
But
feel like Seven Secrets hits different when you're reading it issue to issue versus when you read it all together. Because
yeah.
so issue number 7, which is what came out this week, this is the Returnal issue. Because the first arc ended with 6, and then it went on about a 2 to 3 month hiatus. But I had went and read, because I was missing Seven Secrets, went and read 1 through 6 altogether. And there are things that you catch, I think, when
Mhm.
you're reading it back to back to back versus when you're reading it month to month. Don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying it month to month. Because I love the characters. I love Sigrid and Amon and, I just Caspar. I love all of the characters in this book so much. And I feel like when I'm reading it month to month, that's kind of where I zero in and where I focus is on the characters and how they interact. Whereas when I went and read it all in a whole, that's when I started picking apart the story and being like, and finally understanding the idea of the secrets, the idea of their order and things like that. But Seven Secrets is just so good. It makes me so happy that you loved it. That being said, I did not love issue 7.
Yeah.
I felt like this was, it's weird because I feel like it doesn't fit with the previous arc that we just did, but I also don't feel like it is going to fit with the arc that's coming up. I feel like it's a really weird like middle sub piece where it's in a way kind of like a catch up, but
Mhm.
not really, but also kind of like a cushion into what's going to happen next. We get to see a little bit of backstory into Caspar. We see this whole like third dimension that he was actually raised in before he came back to the order, and we start to see these like nymphs and stuff. But it still makes me excited because I think it's just getting the taste of these characters again that I haven't, been with for 2 months. It's, being with his mother and being with, I can never think of the 2 people who raised him before they went to went to the order and actually started getting with Sigrid and Eva.
Yeah.
I love this book, man. This book makes me happy and makes me feel things. And every time I read it, I'm just like, I need this adapted because I feel like this would be a wonderful Netflix animation. And we know that Tom Taylor has already, done writing credits for all ages shows. And I feel like this is like a no-brainer pickup for him. I don't know. I just want more Seven Secrets. I would read a million Seven Secrets. Like if they did spin-offs with Seven Secrets the way that they
Yeah.
did spin-offs for the Black Hammer universe,
Mhm.
I would be completely happy with that, but that's just me.
100% agree. I do have to say hello to my bestie Nicole. I love you. I can't wait to talk to you again. So I'm so glad that you're here. But with Seven Secrets, so the first volume, like the first arc, is basically like there's this order and there are 7 secrets that are kept in a briefcase, and there's a holder and a keeper. So there's basically 14 people who are like the sworn protectors of the 7 secrets. And the what am I trying to say? So like there's this whole like mythology that's being created, and it almost reminded me of Old Guard. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong, but I feel like it's are they immortal or are they
I
maybe that's like
I don't think that they're immortal. I
well, they're
really
not immortal,
don't.
but I think that they maybe like live longer, or I feel like there's like an age thing where they, because I
There
thought
might
everyone,
be.
anyways, so there's this really cool dynamic, and kind of like spoiler alert, it's being told from this dude, I can't remember their name.
Caspar.
Caspar, yeah. So Caspar, spoiler alert, ends up being the son of the keeper and holder of secret number
I think it's 7.
7. And anyways, there's this order, and that he ends up getting trained and blah blah blah. So it goes into some really interesting family dynamics and some I don't know. So I feel like the reason why I really, really liked Seven Secrets, the first arc, was because I read the entire thing and it's so character driven. I don't even give a shit what the secrets are.
Exactly.
It I like
Exactly. No, I
I
agree.
I will tell you that like during the entire thing, sorry for my highway mess right next to me, but you don't find out what any of the secrets are, and I really don't think that I give a shit.
I don't.
So
Like when I think about like it's those character driven moments that get me. It's that second issue breaks me every single time when Caspar is having the conversation with Sigrid and he's talking about, I not good enough for you, like you and mom abandoned me, what was it that I wasn't good enough? And he's like, they're sitting there and they're having the conversation and he gives him the little rubber ducky and he's like, I've wanted to be your father every single day since you came into my life. And it's just like, and if you read issue 1 and you know what happens in issue 1, you understand why that hits so hard.
Yeah.
So I like this book makes me cry like the way I cry with Saga.
Yeah.
So
I definitely that family dynamic, and that's why this did give me, like, at first, like you said, when it gave you Saga vibes, I'm like, what? Ew. And then after reading it, I'm like, okay, I see it, because like Casper isn't supposed to really exist, kind of forbidden love type thing, or love child of a forbidden love. In issue number 7, it does get a little bit like wacky and weird because they go into this other dimension, which is really cool, but it definitely made me feel like I could read 100 books of Seven Secrets, and I think that the mythos of it is really cool. So I'm really glad
everybody in the book is hot. So
there are thirst traps in the entire
there are
book.
Thirst traps. Like Daniel Di Nicolo, just his character designs, his fluid action, just thank you. Thank you for everything you've ever given us.
Do you have another book that you want to talk about?
I do. I have another one from Boom, and it's kind of a big one. So I love comics. I love comics so much.
Weird.
I do. It's weird, right? But I also really, really love a little card game called Magic the Gathering. Now, I told myself I was never going to get into this stupid game. It's dumb. I don't like the people that play it. Why would I collect a million cards? Then I worked at a comic shop / magic shop, and I met a group of friends that got me completely obsessed and hooked. And now I spend hundreds of dollars on magic cards on top of comics. So when Boom Studios announces that they are doing a Magic the Gathering comic, listen, I'm all in. Yeah. So we've had Magic the Gathering comics in the past. I believe Dark Horse had the rights to them for a while. Let me be honest with y'all. They were all kind of stinky poo-poo, but like they just were bad, really bad. And that's saying something considering one of them were written by Vita Ayala, but they were just all bad.
Yeah.
This book is so good. So listen here, even if you don't play Magic the Gathering, I think you should pick this up because it feels like a very fun fantasy epic, which when you look at Magic the Gathering and you look at the lore of Magic the Gathering, that's kind of like what it is. Like it's these they're called planeswalkers, and I don't know how to describe them other than these big leaders, and they come from all walks of life. So you have like wizards, and you have assassins and ghost assassins, and then you have the love of my life, Queen Vraska, who is literally a Gorgon queen, and the whole reason I started playing Magic the Gathering in the first place. And she's in this issue a lot, so I was like very, very happy. But it's just a fun fantasy epic, and it's the first time that we've had really, really good Magic the Gathering content. Like, the artwork is really fun and really dynamic. The characters are great. The dialogue doesn't feel like it's very like forced.
Okay.
It's just a lot of, I don't want to compare it to Seven Secrets, but it feels like a fun fantasy epic, like Seven Secrets in the terms of, how fun the dialogue is. I was telling you backstage that I know you don't play the game, but I want you to read the book because I feel like if you just like fantasy type stuff, you would enjoy it. Now I need y'all to hold on because I'm about to rip Boom apart. Listen, I'm known for ripping DC apart in their dumb practices. I need to be fair and distribute the love and the hate. So, Boom Studios announced this book, and there was a bunch of variants because, like I said, there are these characters in the mythos called planeswalkers, and there's dozens of them, and they're all different. We got vampires, we've got dragons, we've got Gorgon Queen ladies, and you had a main cover, but then we had variant covers for all of the different planeswalkers. In each issue, there would be like 3 planeswalker covers, and they're gorgeous. They are these like gorgeous, they're virgin variants. So I'm like, as a fan, I'd like to collect all of them so I can display them prominently. I had them pre-ordered. Then about 2 weeks before, Boom announced that they were going to be polybagging everything and doing mystery bags. Y'all remember when DC did mystery bags and they were awful and everybody hated it and ripped them apart, and DC came back and was like, sorry, we shouldn't do that again. We're not going to polybag and mystery bag things. First of all, comic books are already a niche medium. If you want to sell copies, don't polybag stuff. Let people buy the covers that they want. Because listen, me and Jen have dumb bitch money. We will buy all of the covers. Now, you can go and you can spend like $60 to get every single cover that they've made, but I don't want every cover. I only want the Planeswalker covers. So not only did they fuck up with doing these polybagged bullshits, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play Russian roulette here and trying to get the covers I want. I even went into my shop and I was like, hey, can I buy these? And if I don't get the ones I want, can I give them back? Because I know that you'll probably sell them if people know what they look like. Yeah. They were like, well, you could do that. Except out of the 30 copies that we bought, every single one is the same cover. And my shop has 2 locations. In their second location, they bought over 100 copies because it's a bigger location. It was all the same exact cover. Now, that I can't blame Boom for. That is completely at fault of Diamond, because it sounds like they literally just went to a stand, picked up like 50 or 100 and stuck them in a box. This is bullshit. I want my Planeswalker covers, and now I have to resort to eBay and spend mega money if I want the covers that I want. So Boom, fuck you. Let me buy the covers I want. And Diamond, fuck you too, I guess. There you go. It's stupid. So apparently it happened to everybody, where everybody got the same cover. So hear me out, y'all. If you have a shop that has the Liliana and the Sorin Planeswalker variants, hit your girl up. I'll get you the Kaya variant. I'll PayPal you whatever I need to do. I need these covers, man. Please help a girl out, because I love comics and I love Magic the Gathering, and I fucking need all of them. But this is a very good book, and I think you should read it.
It's so funny because when you told me that, you're like, this is a really good book, I think you need to read it. I was like, okay, 100% trust that opinion. And then you're like, but I have to rip it apart. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't get it. And then you saying that, like, so I feel like right now we need to do like a big like internet swap and be like, okay, you've got this cover, exactly. I've got this cover. Like, I'll go ahead and just pick up 10 from my comic book shop and we can all just figure it out.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the book itself. Like, whoever's, and that's the other thing too, is whoever's writing it, you can tell Jed McKay either works for Magic or loves Magic, because they are dropping terminology, and you can read this, as a non-Magic fan and kind of, it sets itself up as a fantasy universe. But as somebody who plays the cards, I'm like, I have that card. I know that place. Like, it's kind of like a fun Easter egg hunt. I don't know. Give me the fucking covers I want. I've been stewing on that since Wednesday, and I've been so upset about it. No. It's just what it is.
Did you get a chance to read anything else from this week? Because I've got
The only other thing I read was Dead Dog's Bite #2. I don't have much to say about it, because it's kind of like, that's a bad thing, because it's kind of like the way I feel about I Walk with Monsters, where not a lot happens to issue, but I'm still overall really enjoying the story. This still feels like a really wacky, weird Twin Peaks sort of story.
Especially in this one, because there's this, and I do want to say it with this perspective.
What's with the cowboy mayor?
No clue. And so, like, I saw that it had been related to Twin Peaks, and as someone who is familiar with like Twin Peaks mythology, but I've never actually watched Twin Peaks other than maybe the first like 2 minutes of the first episode. As soon as like there's this weird, wacky, like red room or whatever that they walk into, or the hallway. And I will be very honest, I really like this. I didn't finish this issue.
Okay.
There were moments that I'm just like, this is just a lot going on and I'm really confused, and maybe it was just too late at night and it was past my bedtime and I should have probably just stopped reading for the night anyways. But
Here's how I feel about Dead Dog's Bite. I'm not loving the story per se. I am loving the storytelling.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Tyler Boss, and we saw this with Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, the way that he presents his stories, the way he presents his panels. I mean, we have this one here where it's like, dude, you're just insane, because it's literally like 24 panels or something like that. But I mean, I'm used to him doing this sort of stuff. It's just the way that he tells his story, and it's all very simple and simplistic. I absolutely love the way that he does that in storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like this is definitely going to be one of those books, because it is so wacky and so weird and so Twin Peaksy, that once all 4 issues are out, that's when you're going to kind of have to take it in as all at once.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I still, like, I'm trying to decide. There's 2 more issues left because it's a 4-issue series, right? So I'm like, do I go ahead and just buy the other 2 issues and then, or do I just go ahead and wait? So we'll see next month when, like, how much is coming out. Because if it's a big week, then I'll probably actually drop issue number 3. But then it would be my luck that that's like the best issue that just like hits me hard.
And that's the other weird thing with this. So like with Crimson Flower, we were telling people, okay, buy Crimson Flower by single issue, because those issues are only $3.99 and the trade is like 20 or 25 or something like that. So you're obviously getting it, cheaper via single issues, which doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. This is the opposite. So I think the trade was solicited for $20, but each individual issue is $5. And I'm like, first of all, why are we doing this $5 bullshit?
Yeah.
Second of all, I should have just gotten the trade, but I love Tyler Boss a lot. So, and I've been waiting for this book for a good year and a half because it kept getting pushed back. So I'm okay with buying it, and it's only 4 issues, but I totally understand if somebody's like, no.
Yeah. So I know that you've been waiting for my review on this next book.
Is it what I think it is?
I think
it is what I think it is. I'm excited. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, I'll be very disappointed if you were expecting something completely different. But I've got an update for you on issue number 3 of Casual Fling. Okay, you knew.
I knew exactly what it was. I'm so excited.
Okay, first things first. I feel like
why is that cover so creepy? I don't like that.
Because it's Danny, who does Coffin Bound. Is that right?
Okay.
I think. So I'm liking this a lot.
No.
There were some, but I will say it with this. There are some cringe moments, and I honestly, I read issue 1 of Casual Fling, and I'm like, okay, this is so cringe. It's horrible. It feels like it's written by like a men's rights activist or something. And I was like, man.
I just keep thinking about that author letter, that first line of this.
He's like, I'm writing a book about how a woman cheats on her husband and has an affair, and then she gets blackmailed, and it's a really personal story. And I'm like, you can't just say that without giving me the details, because I'm going to make up a whole bunch of dumb shit and be like,
is there an author note in this book?
I don't know if I got that far. In the back, I think when I finished it, I didn't check and see. Let's see.
I'm mad that that's the one thing I care about is there another creepy author note?
Yeah. Let's see if there's an update here. No, there is not. But I will go ahead and let you know, because in issue 1, we get to see the setup. There's a powerful woman, and she is like a partner in her law firm. She ends up, can she have it all? Can she have a career? Can she have a family? And she ends up, you just see that she's like not loving her life, and she ends up having an affair with someone who ends up filming their sexual encounter and like trying to blackmail her. And then in issue number 2, she's being harassed by this dude who is like blackmailing her. And then she ends up at the end of the issue or middle of the issue telling her husband, and he leaves her. And then at the end of the issue, her husband goes to this friend who's like a hacker, and she's like, "Oh, thank you for coming to see me, senpai," or something like that. I don't know. So then they're just friends. So spoiler alert, in issue 3 you find out they're just friends, and I think that she's a lesbian anyways because she tries to hit on the wife. But what they end up doing is they end up using their cool hacker skills to find the dude, and he's, okay, so we traced the video, and we had to look on the dark web, where there's like the naughty stuff, like the sex trafficking, and that's not really what the dark web is. The dark web is technically so that was like my first point of contention in this, where I'm like, that's not what the dark web is. The dark web is just technically anything that's hidden behind a paywall, which could be like a news site that just has like beyond a paywall. So anyways, they end up finding the video in the dark web, and lo and behold, they can't find out who he is because he has a mask on during their sexual encounter, but they found a whole bunch of other videos of him with other ladies. So they end up finding like 30 other women that he's had sex with, and guess what? They're all powerful women. So his fetish is just blackmailing these powerful women.
Because the man is so sad that his life is pathetic. Oh no. So
they track down some of the women, and they're like, okay, like, we saw this sex tape and you had sex with this guy, and what happened? And most of the women are like, I don't want to talk. But then one woman's like, okay, I'll talk. And so they talk to her, and they're like, okay, we're going to try to take him down together. And she's like, okay. And then you see her talking to him. It's his wife.
Jesus hell.
So I know I'm like kind of like trashing this and like dragging it through the filth. I'm mildly captivated by it, and there's one more issue, so I'm gonna end up picking that up.
It's
too.
like with those like really trashy romance novels that you pick up. That's literally what this is for you, and I love it.
Yeah. So that's my review of Casual Fling issue 3. I kind of hate that I just spent like 3 times the amount of time talking about Casual Fling that I did Swamp Thing, but there you go. That's the world I'm living in.
It's only because you have to give me a full recap every single time.
Exactly. So there's a couple other books that I got this week. Oh wait, that one was last week, so I'll go ahead and throw that over there. King in Black finally ended. It ended pretty solid, kind of predictable. I didn't read Venom. I don't know if I was supposed to, but whatever, it is what it is at this point. Let me see here. Fear Case was pretty good. You can never really see these covers really well.
Yeah, they're so weird.
Yeah. But once again, another solid book. Dark Horse is doing that like 4-issue run. And
you've got one more issue of that one too.
And so I do just have to say the artwork by Tyler and Hilary Jenkins is just love it. Chef's kiss. Let's see here. I didn't read these books even though I picked them up. Bliss just breaks my heart. It's so good and so tragic.
Also, can we talk about how the cover for that is AOC?
Yeah, and can we also talk about how if you go onto Images Instagram, you can see a whole bunch. You can drink in so many.
I think
tears.
I sat in that comment section way too long, and I'm just like, it's a cover, y'all. Get over it. It's fine.
Yeah. And there was a couple books that I didn't read, even though I picked them up like Last Witch. So I do want to talk about really quick. Tankers #1 came out. So this one was done by Bad Idea. So of course this book is.
How much is that one selling for?
I think $100. So please do not spend $100 on this book unless, I don't know, whatever. It's an interesting book. In this one, it's basically the world has run out of oil, so they're going to go back in time and they're going to get the oil from the source, and they're going to do it by getting dead dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs are still alive at that point. Anyways, it reminded me of Berserker, where it just like is 0 to 100 and just remains at 100 the entire time.
So compared to ENIAC, you think ENIAC is definitely the stronger of the two?
So ENIAC number 2 came out, and I really just think that there's a little bit more nuance in this one. I think that this one's smarter, for lack of a better word, but I still I enjoy Tankers. I don't know if I'll pick up issue 2, but I liked ENIAC number 1 enough to pick up issue 2. Once again, supercomputer gains sentience and is trying to destroy the world, and it's a pretty fun read. One more book. I almost didn't pick this one up, but I really, really enjoyed it, and that's Project Patron. I thought this was going to be another dumb superhero book where it's like, it's superheroes, but different. But this actually was superheroes, but different, and it was interesting, and it's done by Steve Orlando. It's interesting that he's doing another one of those, like, it's superheroes, but different.
Because he's doing Commanders in Crisis.
Commanders in Crisis. But this one actually is pretty interesting, and it's basically like, I feel like I don't want to spoil it, but I think that anyone who likes, if you like Commanders in Crisis, if you like maybe even Black Hammer, and you like the superhero mythos without being like traditional superheroes, I think you would like Project Patron. And it's Aftershock, so better than anticipated. Okay, so now that it took us an hour to get through last week's books, we are going to go through last month's first issues.
Last month's first issues, and there were so many of them. Like
so
going
many.
through, so many. So, we'll start. We're gonna kind of categorize them, or try to categorize them by publisher, for lack of a better word. So I guess we'll start with DC. So Sensational Wonder Woman. I've already established I really, really am enjoying. I really like these small one-shot stories for Wonder Woman. I think that is where she works best. This is a digital first series that eventually then comes to print. I kind of really want to add this to my pool. We'll see. If you want Wonder Woman, if you want to enjoy some Wonder Woman, but maybe don't know a lot about Wonder Woman, or don't want to commit to a long-running story, this is definitely the type of book for you.
Yep, for sure. And so wait, so Stephanie Phillips is doing, is she doing this? Did she do the second one?
No, she did not.
Okay.
Andrea Shea did the second issue, and she is known for writing the DC superhero girl books. Speaking of Stephanie Phillips, though, we have Harley Quinn, number 1, spinning out of Future State. I know you really, really like this. I personally didn't like it. I thought it was really wordy for a Harley Quinn book, and I got really, really confused because it plays a lot into the Joker War stuff. So if you didn't read Joker War, I feel like it can get very confusing, but I absolutely adore the art in this book.
As someone who didn't read like Joker War and I don't think that I couldn't have been less interested in it. Sorry, not sorry. I really enjoyed it. I feel like this book embodied the spirit of Harley Quinn without giving her cringy mental health issues. I just thought it was adorable. I like her outfit and her costume now. So,
her outfit is precious.
I really liked it. I liked the artwork. It definitely
people go back on. I feel like this is like, that's what splits the book for people is people like the art or people absolutely hate the art. I, for one, really like it. Jen really likes it. For me, I thought it was too wordy.
You know what, I think I definitely understand if you didn't expect it going in to be as wordy, then I get it. I loved it. I want to say hello to C-List Iman. I did a show with him last week, so I'm talking this week about the things that came out this week that we talked about last week. So anyways, I had a really fun show with him. You are going to be hanging out with him soon, right?
Soon, yeah. We had to reschedule. I actually have to go and look at my calendar and see when that is, because I'm a terrible person. But yes, we are going to be filming something, and I'm very excited, especially after I watched your hangout with him. It just seems like such a chill dude. We're going to have a rad time. It's going to be super fun.
Very, very much so.
So DC Comics, the only other thing, I know you have a couple things. Teen Titans Academy, which shocked the hell out of me. I thought that this was just going to end up being a really dumb, gimmicky book, throwing Red X into it because that is the new punchline. And eventually he's going to be knocked out for Miracle Molly, so it's okay. But Teen Titans Academy was super, super fun. It felt like a really fun X-Men book, which if you read a lot of Marvel and read a lot of X-Men, you might not like it. But as somebody who reads DC a lot and doesn't get this sort of fun, I really, really enjoyed it, and I might have to pick up the rest of the issues. Also, it is confirmed that Starfire and Nightwing get into some kinky shit, so really appreciated that.
Okay, you are allowed to hate me just a little bit because you have been like screaming at me about this book for what, 3 weeks now, and I'm like, it's literally been sitting there and I haven't read it. So I really apologize because as soon as you were like, yeah, they're getting into some kinky shit, and I'm like, oh, that's all you had to say, fam, and I still haven't read it.
Sheena messaged me and was like, yeah, I read it. You right. It was totally kinky, and I was like, do I tell lies? Like, listen, I'm here to pitch books, very simple to you, and I'm here to say Teen Titans Academy gets a little spicy, but I really like the book. I think it's fun. I like the characters. I like how lighthearted it feels compared to a lot of other DC stuff right now.
Okay, so I'm taking this book. I'm literally keeping it out. I will not file it away. It's over there, and I will read it. I think that this is a first issue. I don't know if you pulled it. It is not a #1 issue, but I feel like it has the spirit of being a #1 issue, and that's Nightwing.
I was going to pull it, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't.
I've been like working on a list. Like I literally have a numbers document, and I think I forgot to put this on there. But this one was really good, and if anyone else is picking up,
good. Feels like Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. You don't need any sort of. I mean, we all know who Nightwing is at this point, so that's basically all you need to know going into it. It's really fun, lighthearted. Bruno Redondo draws the sexiest Nightwing I have ever seen. Tom Taylor, exactly. Tom Taylor writes the most heartwarming, Nightwing I've ever seen. I'm having a great time. Also, Newsrama said that this book was bad, and I want to fight everybody on their site for that. Don't even care. Fuck you. Literally.
Yeah, as someone who like has zero, maybe not zero, a little bit of knowledge of Nightwing and has not a lot of interest into a lot of the DC stuff, man, I enjoyed this book, and it was so surprising, and it got so emotional, and just
it's going to second printing.
Oh, I didn't. That's pretty good. So that's kind of like crazy for an issue number 78. So seriously, take it from someone who like has not read issue 1 through 77. You can literally pick up issue 78 if you haven't already, and read it.
It's a good time, y'all. It's just a good time.
And I think last on the list for DC, I know I already talked about issue 2, but issue 1 of Swamp Thing is just so damn good. Creating this whole new mythos. I really, really, really enjoy this. I love Rumby. I just want everyone to pick up Swamp Thing. I know that you're not picking it up, and that's okay. I still love you, but so good.
I'll get it in trade. I promise.
But that'll be like over a year from now.
No, it won't. 6 months. 4 months.
It's 10. It's 10 issues.
Oh, it's a limited series. Yeah, it's gonna be a year from now. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this one up in trade. Sorry, babe. I still love you.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So anyways, unless you're Mars, please go out and buy Swamp Thing.
Listen, we have to conserve money, time, and space, okay?
Yeah. I definitely I understand that.
Shit, John's Comics with Kids brought up a good point in talking about Nightwing. I forgot that they gave gave Alfred a daughter. Damn, you're right.
Can you just imagine? Does anyone know? So spoiler alert, Alfred dies, and I think the whole thing has been like Batman didn't have any money, and it's like, where did all of his money go? And like we've been seeing like people kind of talk about that, and so Alfred died, left Nightwing a whole bunch of money, and apparently forgot his daughter in the will.
Daughter.
Yeah. So maybe that's.
But it's okay because me and DC Comics have forgotten about the daughter too, so it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Things happen. So jumping, that was everything for DC. Jumping over into Marvel, last week we saw the debut of Silk #1. I really did not like this issue. It felt really out of character for Cindy Moon for me, but that is somebody who has not read Cindy Moon since like Bunker Cindy Moon, so I understand people change, and maybe I'm just a big dumb doo-doo head. Also, J. Jonah Jameson is nice and apparently watches Tiki Talk. I just love that Tiki Talk.
Tiki Talk. So it's like, hey lawyers, how can we refer to TikTok but safe? I picked up like 4, 5 of the variant covers, and I have yet to read it.
Of course you did.
It's going to go next to Teen Titans. It's going to go underneath Teen Titans because I'm going to read Teen Titans Academy first.
But speaking of books I really did enjoy from Marvel and kind of wish I'd put it on my pool, but I'll just trade weight it. America Chavez, Made in America. I really, really enjoyed this book. It kind of reinvents America as we know her. And I don't know, I just really liked the dialogue in this book, and I like how simple it feels because reading the original America series, I feel like that one got a little convoluted with the multiverses and made me have bad brain. So this was dumb and simple, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I can see how if the type of Marvel fan you are is like maybe heavy into X-Men, not necessarily because I feel like some X-Men is lighthearted. I do think that if you like a lot of this stuff with
if you enjoy like Kate Bishop, Marvel, Hawkeye.
Yeah, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, I think that you'll enjoy this 100%.
I know you have a lot. I only have one more Marvel thing.
Is it Aliens?
It might be Aliens.
No, it should be. There should be 2 things.
What's my other thing?
Okay, so there's Aliens, but then there's also Demon Days.
Oh shit, you're right. I forgot. Okay, I lied. Okay, I forgot about that one. I'm horrible.
Let's talk about Aliens first.
Aliens. Here's my plug for Aliens. It's too goddamn white. What the hell?
There's too many dudes.
Too many white people. Not enough horror. I don't care about this dumb family relationship. Y'all blew it. You blew it. That's all I'm gonna say. You blew it.
And I feel like this issue did come out really strong because like we get this really cool splash scene.
Yeah, the first like 2 pages are great. It sets up a really wonderful horror vibe, and then we get into dumb family sci-fi bullshit. Also, the eco-terrorists are really, really dumb and actually made me side with you. What's the name? Waylani. I'm sorry. If I am siding with Waylon, or Waylon, whatever the fuck. If I'm siding with them, that's how angry I am at this book.
Yeah.
If I am siding with Waylon Yutani, y'all have a problem because they are the bad guys, and I've hated them since I've seen this stuff, and now I'm siding with them. So y'all really fucked up.
I do have to say that I am a big fan of Philip Kennedy Johnson. I do wish that I had gotten more from LaRocca's art. Like I almost wish that they had done more of like the H.R. Giger type style of Alien. Like I really wish that this book would just go weird, deep, crazy sci-fi. Like I really wish that it had done that. There is a part of me that's like, okay, they're doing an interesting like family dynamic type thing, which
but it was boring.
But it kind of was. I'm still probably going to pick up issue 2, but I think I'm going to let issue 2 be the deciding factor on whether or not I continue.
If y'all want an interesting family dynamic in Aliens, just play Aliens Isolation, because I feel like that did better than this comic.
Travis, what's the name of my channel, man? I'm here to break your heart. Comics are here to break your heart.
Facts.
Yeah.
Demon Days, though, very, very good, very strong. Spent a lot of dumb bitch money on that because I bought all the covers. I like Demon Days. I like this new reinvention of Marvel and X-Men, and you know, Peach Momoko has proven she falls on the side of Joelle Jones and not on the side of Mirka Andolfo and Maria Lovett at this point. So really, really great book. Really wonderful. Just one shot, but it's kind of continuing, and we'll talk more about that later. But I like Demon Days. I thought it was a good book.
Yeah. I, like you said, I love the, because this takes like X-Men and puts it into a like studio I always want to. Is it
Like a
Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli. So Studio Ghibli type world, and I really like it. So if you want X-Men plus Princess Mononoke, that was 100% this issue, but they are each going to be one shots, kind of, I guess. So you could easily go into picking up issue number 2. And without picking this one up. However, the second print of this issue came out this past week.
Yep.
So for some reason you missed it, you might be able to pick up the
second printing.
Second printing.
And it's got a gorgeous cover too.
Oh, like a Peach Momoko cover for sure. Okay, so I've got 4 books for Marvel. I feel like I should have had more, but whatever. Wiccan and Hulkling came out, and it was a King in Black tie-in. It was really cute because these 2 beautiful human beings are on their honeymoon, but then they get sucked into the King in Black stuff that's been going on. King in Black ended, so I'm curious to see where this series goes after the King in Black events. It was kind of cute because all throughout the issue, it's like, we just want a cute little moment together so we can kiss each other. And then they finally get to at the end. So anyways, I do see here really quick, Banshee Queen says, started to read Dreaming Waking Hours. I loved Dreaming Waking Hours, especially the end of the first arc. There's like that issue, like literally made me cry. It was so good. Okay, so this one came out last week, and it's Ghostwriter, King in Black tie-in. Interesting as Ghostwriter can get. I felt like the artwork was fun, but
it has definitely Mephisto.
It does have Mephisto. It's 100% peak Ghostwriter with King in Black stuff going on. There's the like who's gonna rule hell type thing. I feel like we've seen this before, but I still really liked it. Curious to see where it's going to go after this first issue. I will be very honest. I don't remember Avengers Curse of Man thing. I don't remember it. So I don't know. I got like 3 covers and I read it. I promise I don't remember it though. But I think one of my favorite books this last month was definitely kind of going on the my favorite boyfriends are monsters is Beta Ray Bill.
I still need to read it.
It was really damn good. Daniel, it's the team that brought you Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which was another one of my favorite books this last year. And man, it gets kind of heartbreaking with Beta Ray Bill here because he's a monster and he wants to just get down with Lady Sif, and she's like, but you're a monster.
Does, as you say, and that's the whole reason I'm gonna read the book.
Yeah, so I wish, the same way that I'm gonna I've been pitching my Batman year 18 Barely Legal, I'm gonna pitch you a like very filthy naughty Beta Ray Bill story. So
like an erotic fantasy
book.
An erotic I'm here book. For this. Okay.
Yeah. I do want to say hello to Comic Burrito, and I know you've been in the chat, but I haven't been able to say hi to Taki616. Okay, so that was like half of what I have right here for Marvel and DC, and we do have some indies. Do you want to? You know what? I'm just going to do this. I want to start off with probably the book that I hated the most. Liked the least, was very excited for, was very pumped for, and it just did not deliver.
I'm gonna hold it up. Let me know if it's the right book. I'm gonna hold it up.
On 3, yeah, we both got it.
Code of Dracula. It was bad, really bad fan fiction. Vampires and Dracula deserve better. These lovely ladies deserve better. It was bad, just bad.
I really don't want to trash this book because but I am, or I'll do it briefly. The writing, it felt like the person, it just like every 80s trope just kind of like put into here. Like I feel like there would have been a moment where like, it was my last day before retirement, and like just all of like those lines, like one lines. Did not enjoy this. The cover is absolutely beautiful, and I would 100% get a big poster of this and put it up on my wall.
Feels like one of those old pulpy like 70s movie posters.
Yep. But it just did not deliver. The artwork on the inside was not great. The story just felt so tropey, and it wasn't as nuanced as I think that it could have been. And I think that you mentioned it when we read it. It felt like a rough draft. Like
Yep.
it felt like they
Feels like it's
and
the first pass of a script.
hmm and I want to say this, I don't know. It just wasn't great. Sorry. This is probably my least favorite read of the week, of the month.
I don't know, man, because this next book comes pretty close. I'm talking about Eros and Psyche. Damn, look at us on the same.
I know.
We share one brain
let's
cell at this point,
like
y'all.
pass each other the book.
Pass it. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, we share one brain cell when it comes to comics, y'all. It's lovely, and I love it so much.
Maybe one and a half, because we do have differing opinions on a lot of things.
We do, but I feel like it's still the same brain cell. Like, let's be honest. It's the same brain cell. This book, I don't know which one was worse, this or Cult of Dracula, because both were equally bad. I was equally excited for both. This was supposed to be lovely lesbians. Don't know what the hell happened in this story. It ended before I could get a grip on what was going on. Both of the characters stay the same, and this is kind of solidifying Maria Lovett in that Mirka Andolfo state. You know, we joke on this show that as a writer-artist combination, you can be one of two things. Either you can be a Mirka Andolfo or you can be a Joelle Jones. We said Peach Momoko. She's in the leagues with Joelle Jones. Mirka Andolfo and Maria Lovett are now in the same boat. So wanted this to be better. Don't know what the hell happened. It is what it is. It's stupid. I don't care.
I feel like I really wanted to like this, and especially seeing, I love Maria Lovett's artwork. I thought that this was going to be better than Luna, and it's not doing it for me.
Not
I'm
good.
So sorry.
Not fun at all.
River Read 6, I was confused after reading it. Like, I feel like I'm confused about why I'm confused, because the story was so simple. Like, and I feel like I didn't get anything out of it.
Also, where's the Eros and Psyche mythos? Like, if you're going to call your book Eros and Psyche, give me a little bit about that mythos, but modernize it, make it lesbians, you know? Just.
Yeah. Sorry. My cat is like trashing right now to get some water. Sorry. So anyways, Eros Psyche was not great. I will definitely not be picking it up. What is a book that you did end up liking?
Another book I ended up liking that I did not expect, and this one is probably, I'm going to blame it on Dill if he's still here. Orphan and the Five Beasts. I really, really like this. Now, we all know that I'm very picky when it comes to picking up in single issues, so I'm not going to be picking up the rest of the single issues, but I will definitely be picking up the trade as soon as it comes out. This was just really, really fun. It felt like a Studio Ghibli meets Lone Wolf and Cub. The artwork in this was really, really fantastic. This was a book that gets violent, kind of like Berserker, but justifies its violence. I mean, there's a scene where a guy literally crushes a horse between his thighs, and I'm like, damn, same dude. I understand.
He's not called Thunder Thighs, but he's called, or is it Thunder Thighs?
He might be called Thunder Thighs. Hold on, I gotta look it up, because this book was fun. I had a good time with reading this, and I didn't think I would. Yeah, he's called Thunder Thighs.
Okay.
And this is just going to be one of those books that's just a blast. And also, we established that James
Stokoe, yeah.
James Stokoe is a fucking beast, because he literally did everything in this book. The lettering, the colors, the writing, everything. So, like, damn, dude, you fucking get a 20 star out of 10 on this one.
And especially considering how, I don't have that book right here, but considering how like detailed the artwork is, to do that, and like, I guess the coloring, man,
it's just a really great. It's a really great book. I feel like it's going to be one of those books that slip under the radar, especially because it doesn't seem like I definitely am not the market for that type of book, but I read it because somebody recommended it and ended up being like, damn, this was actually, like, I didn't hate it, and I wanted more from it. But again, conserve money, conserve space, read the trade.
If you don't mind me asking, have you read the book Little Bird?
Yes. Well,
okay, so
I read half of Little Bird. I haven't finished it.
Little Bird is definitely, I think, like a heavy book. It's one of those like very detailed. I can see how the writing and or artwork would throw people off, but
Mm-hmm.
Little Bird was one of my favorite books of 2019. I think that one maybe got published the first part of 2020. Um,
No, first part, latter half of 2019, because I was still
okay,
working at the comic shop.
got it. Anyways, I think that if you liked Little Bird, which won an Eisner Award in 2020, I do think that you would like Orphan and the Five Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we were talking about creators that are just kind of doing it all. Daniel Warren Johnson does do the artwork and the writing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about, I think if you like this stylized artwork of Ian Bertram does Little Bird, or is that the writer?
No, that's
Someone
Ian Bertram.
Okay. And then that's right. And then Daniel Warren Johnson, James Stokoe, like I feel like those artwork styles are so similar. So I think that if you like one, I think that you would kind of dig all of
Kind of
that.
like that mesh. Absolutely.
Um,
That was a Dark Horse title, which was surprising because, you know, Dark Horse has been kind of killing it lately.
mhm.
Speaking of Dark Horse, we kind of talked about this already. Dead Dog's Bite. I love Tyler Boss. I think his cartooning style is amazing and not something we see too often from comics. It's got this really weird Twin Peaks vibe. I'm definitely focusing more on the art in this book than I am the writing, which for me, I'm usually the opposite. I like it. I think it's fun. It's definitely not going to be for everybody, though.
Yeah, for sure. To me, it gives me like True Detective meets Twin Peaks meets a little bit of maybe Twilight Zone. And the only reason why I say Twilight Zone is because there's this really weird narrator who's just kind of like in the
Exactly.
background.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, like I said earlier, I didn't finish issue 2 of this, I like the series. I'll still probably pick up issue number 3. We'll see how heavy that week is, but enjoyed it. The other one that was by Dark Horse, Lady Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
I was lost in the dark, but that's because I don't know too much about the whole. There's a mythos going on, so maybe I need to go back and read that. I probably won't.
She cute though.
She cute, and I like the artwork, but probably won't pick up issue number 2.
Fair enough.
Okay. Comic Burrito does say Dead Dog's Bite is probably going to be my favorite book of the year, but agree it's not for everyone. Yeah.
It's definitely a heavy book, and I feel like that one's definitely going to have a larger payoff when you read it as a whole versus reading it issue to issue.
Very, very true. Yep. Let's go ahead and let me see. I'm trying to pull out. Let's go ahead and do image last. Oh, sorry. Do you want to do image last?
Okay, we can do image last. I'm holding this one. We'll just, I guess, from Boom. Proctor Valley Road, #1.
I don't have that one right here. Okay, yeah.
This is a Grant Morrison title, and I usually hate Grant Morrison as a writer. I think that they are too dense and use big words to cover lack of plot. That's just my personal opinion. I know Jen loves Grant a whole lot. I actually kind of enjoyed this book. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely a trade weight for me, but I really do like the all ages, but not all ages vibe to it because it gets a little intense. It might be more like older ages, so like more young adult, older teen. It's got a supernatural vibe to it. The artwork's pretty. It's set in the 70s, which everything at this point is set in the 80s. So it's nice to see something in the 70s. So yeah.
Yep, for sure. You just like hit the nail on every head, hit the head on every nail, whatever it is. I really like this urban legend type feel that it has to it because they're going out to Proctor Valley Road and it's almost like every single town has that like urban legend where it's like if you go to this road at midnight and like this happens. So I really like to see Grant Morrison writing that, especially knowing that Grant Morrison
gets a little weird.
But I love the weird of Grant Morrison a lot. They're one of my absolute, like, when I think about writers that I really admire, Grant Morrison is definitely up there.
100%. Did you have anything else for Boom? I feel like that was all I had. Oh, there is another one for Boom that I don't have because I hated it. I fucking hated this book, Jen. Why does this book exist? I hated it. Berserker. I don't even own my copy anymore, and that's why I'm like, oh, I've got nothing for Boom. I literally handed my copy away. the only reason why it's selling copies, listen, hard take. Only reason why it's selling copies is because Keanu Reeves is attached. If Keanu Reeves was not attached to this book, it would not get the hype it does. This book is overly violent for no reason. I am still highly grossed out by the blood coming out of the titty. Sorry if that was a little rough. It was just stupid. It kind of grabbed me when it had that old guard vibe to it, but overall, it's just kind of stupid. Trying to figure out how Matt Kent, who writes this book, because Keanu Reeves ain't writing this book. They just put his name on it. Matt Kent is doing all the heavy lifting. Matt Kent, who wrote this book, and it's such a brain dead book, also wrote Crimson Flower, which is like one of my favorite books right now. So, I don't like Berserker at all, dude. I hate it so much.
So I do have to say, like, I went into this book, and I think one of the reasons, I don't want to say that I hate it. I think I hate how much the hype it gets, and I do think it's because Boom Studios is like, oh, we've got Kiana on it, and we're going to do like a Kickstarter or something, and there's going to be this cover that's like 1 in 1,000, and it's going to be $1,000, and someone paid that much money for the book, and I'm pretty sure it was Keanu Reeves. But I do think that if there wasn't as much hype behind this, would I enjoy it? Maybe. I think that this book doesn't pretend to be anything else other than it is, and it's literally just a violent, like, romp through this character who's like, I'm gonna kill things, and I'm a killer, and the reason is because I can't be killed. And
it makes no sense. He's busting through guys, no reason. These people probably have families, and he's just maiming the fuck out of them. Not only that, but unrelated, kind of related, the damn publicity stunt thing that they are doing with issue 2, where if you buy issue 2, you get a copy of Something is Killing the Children. It's a special variant, which, listen, I kind of want the special variant. I was willing to buy a copy of Berserker number 2, but now it's being told that comic shops are getting 1 copy of that variant for every 2 copies of Berserker. So how does that work where if you buy Berserker number 2, you get this variant, but you're only giving me 2 copies or 1 copy per 2 books? Makes no sense. Boom, what the hell are you doing?
It really doesn't make any sense. Comic Burrito, I'm really, really glad that you like my review here of Berserker. I'm a kill things because I'm a killer. That's 100% what it is. In the same way that I think that people are specking on a lot of the Bad Idea publisher books. To me, if you like Berserker, then I think that Bad Idea, the ENIAC and Tankers that came out this last week, I think that you'd really like Berserker. I got a lot of Berserker vibes from Tanker. I don't want to say that I hate this book as much as, like, I know that it is what it is, and it doesn't pretend to be anything else other than just like a violent romp. And spoiler alert, little baby Keanu Reeves Berserker is sucking on his mom's tit and blood comes out.
I think that's what broke me. That's the point of the book that legitimately broke me, because I'm like, okay, it's violent. He's punching through people. Rah, he's a killer. And then we get the baby and he's just like, ha. And I'm like, first of all, that's not how that works. Because I was telling somebody about this book. I think, let me be honest with you, I think it was like my grandmother or my mother or somebody I was telling this book about, because they mentioned the Keanu Reeves comic, because it's everywhere right now. And somebody made a comment of, babies don't have teeth. So how does the blood happen? And I was like, as somebody who does not have kids, who never wants kids, despises kids, I was like, shit, you might be right. Hold on. How does that even happen?
That's where my suspension of disbelief ends, is because it's a book about Keanu Reeves who's lived for 10,000 years and is immortal and kills things. And but babies don't have teeth. So where's that blood coming from?
Babies don't have teeth. Vampire baby.
Yeah. I only have 2 more books on my list. I feel like I had a couple others, but
I have 4. What happened?
I probably just don't have them right here in front of me. Let me go ahead and I'll pull it. I don't know if you got this one. Destiny New York.
I did
not. Okay. Really quick. It's written by Pat Shandon. I enjoyed it. It's basically about it's like to me, it's like a magic school book without like magic, but it's basically about kids who they have prophesized destinies and they have to learn how to they get trained for it, I guess. So it's not a bad book. It's all in black and white on the interiors, so I think that could throw people off. I do wish that it was in color, but hey, we are where we're at. It's not bad though.
Speaking of small publishers, Volt Comics only had one new thing, and I feel like that's kind of the trend for them, is they do one new series a month. But it was an absolute banger. So Witchblood was probably like my favorite new series of the month. It's just really fun girl jam vibes. It's got that witty fun style that Erica Henderson uses when she writes books like Squirrel Girl and Assassination. It's just really fun, really great. It's got vampires, it's got witches, it's got punk rock vibes. It's super colorful. I heard somebody was saying that this was a bad book, and I was ready to fight them on the side of the street because I love this book.
I feel like this one definitely deserved a second read because the artwork is so dynamic. I feel like there were moments where I didn't catch things because I was so engrossed in the artwork. But I really did enjoy it because it's like there's this badass girl, there's also vampires, and anyways, I really liked it.
It's a good book.
Very good book. Solid book.
Solid book. The only thing I have left, I have stuff from Image. I don't know if that's what you have.
I've got a couple books by Image. I do also have this book by Oni, which I thought was really cute. It came out the first of the month, so it's been like a month since this has come out. Jana and the Unpossible Monsters has been really, really cute. I just think this one's really colorful and fun, and it's one of those palette cleansers. So go ahead and read yourself some Berserker, and then get that blood nipple taste out of your mouth with Jana and the Impossible Monsters.
100%.
I've got 3 Image books here. I feel like I should have more.
No, I have 3 Image books too. Okay. And can I be honest with you? Image stayed being a stinker this month. Like, I did not like anything new from Image. I feel like we should get this one out of the way because I know you hated this book. Noctara. It's Scott Snyder. First of all, I'm just gonna say it again. I know I said it at the beginning of the month. You kickstarted a book, and it was the most successful comic Kickstarter, and then Image went and scooped it up and distributed it and published it. I don't like that practice at all. Sorry, somebody like Scott Snyder can live off of a Kickstarter. He doesn't need to go to Image and do this shit. That being said, it's a really cool post-apocalyptic Mad Max Fury Road vibe. It has so much potential to it. I just think that it is held back by Tony S. Daniels' art. I need something new and inventive and neon and fun. And this is just another superhero book, but without superheroes in it.
I definitely feel like and I really can't even think of anything by Scott Snyder that I've liked, like, at the big 2 necessarily recently. But I feel like when it came to Noctara, it was like I expected more, right? When I think of the hype that someone like Scott Snyder gets, and it's like, oh, he's doing, like, I mean, granted, he was kind of half doing Undiscovered Country, which I didn't enjoy, and I feel like when it came to Noctara, for someone like him, to me the book was mediocre at best. I heard issue 2 was much better, so there's a part of me that's like, damn, should I have gotten issue number 2 of Noctara? But I don't think that I will. Did
you ever read, I don't know if I've asked you this, but I've always wanted to. It's kind of related, kind of not related. Did you ever read his Swamp Thing?
Scott Snyder?
I love that.
Coming soon for Rob Liefeld, blood nipple, and there's just going to be like pockets and pouches. I need a pocket pouch bra.
Hold on. I'm glad Bueller has said something now, because Berserker feels like a Rob Liefeld book. It really does. Rob Liefeld book through and through, and fuck, I hate that. But back to Swamp.
Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
Look at how many pouches he's got, y'all. Look at how many pouches.
Why does he need so many pouches?
So many pouches. So, Rob Liefeld, thank you for the book in disguise.
Right. But back to Scott Snyder and Swampy Boy. Did you ever read his Swamp Thing?
I'm looking like back at my shelf because I have it up here. I've got the first 2 or 3. I read the first one. I think I read it around the same time that I was reading Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and it just doesn't compare.
Really? Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Probably won't be getting. I heard that the second issue of Noctera was better, but I'm still probably, if I do get it, I'm probably going to trade wait.
100%. That's me. I'm trade waiting that one. Other stinkers from Image. We've already ripped this book apart. Carmen by Guillaume March.
Yeah. I don't even have that book right here.
Do not like. Sorry. I understand it's a European book. I understand I'm a dumb poo-poo American that can't understand the art of this book. First of all, when you're dealing with a book about suicide, which this book does, you got to be very gentle with that topic. And I think he kind of approaches it and then kind of barrels over it. Don't like the fact that the girl is naked the entire time. And listen, I ain't no prude, but when the character of your book is constantly reminding its readers, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I'm naked. Hey, why am I naked? I don't like this feeling. Hey, I'm naked. Can I please have some clothes? Kind of makes me uncomfortable.
100%.
I love the premise of a quirky little angel of death. I love Guillaume March's artwork. This book was just... didn't like it. And I know the type of work he can do because I read his book Monica, which was another European book that he had done, bought over and translated, to the States. Don't like this book at all.
I will keep saying this. I wanted to like it really bad. I loved the covers. I did enjoy the artwork. So maybe this is one of those Mirka Andolfo where it's like, I don't like the writing and the artwork by the same person. Mm-hmm. So maybe if someone else was writing it and Guillaume March was doing the just the artwork. I do want to say this though, because I didn't love Carmen and I'm not going to pick up the second issue. What I do want to say though about that is that there's another book that's coming out. We both got a chance to read the advanced copy, and it's The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V. And I feel like The Many Deaths of Layla...
I haven't read it yet.
You still haven't read it yet? Okay.
I still haven't read it yet, but I trust the way that you feel about it 100%.
And seriously, if you read Carmen and you felt the same kind of cringiness of it that we're describing, please go and pick up The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. It comes out at the end of this month. I was thinking that it came out next week. It actually comes out in 2 weeks.
And it's already gone to second printing. Final order cutoff for the second printing of issue 1, which is done by Chris Ward. It is so, let me see if I can. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Amazing. And seriously, I need everyone to go and pick up
The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. And that's a Boom Studios title. Mm-hmm. And a Rome V title.
Yep. Dang, did I not save it? Oh, okay. So I've got it here. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. This is the second printing of the first issue. And
I think I like that cover more than the main covers, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. I thought that it came out next week, but I think it does come out the following week. Mm-hmm. So please, everyone, go pick up The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. It's a limited series. Add it to your pull list because, damn, this book is so freaking good. So anyways, that's all I got to say about that.
Plug. Image Comics. We're talking about Image because now we're derailing as we do.
Yep. I've got 3 more.
The only other thing I have in general and from Image Comics was Shadecraft. I really wanted to like this book. It just fell short for me. I feel like it was too long of a setup for its first issue. I think that this is going to be a book, though, that I like through the trade. I think it's definitely going to pay off as a trade weight. It was supposed to be this girl who's afraid of the dark, then gets sort of like shadow being powers. We do find out by the end of the first issue that this book does have a lot of heart to it. I will give it that. There's a lot of heart in this book, but like I said, as a first issue, reading it issue to issue, I just don't think it's going to hold up.
I kind of slightly disagree. I did enjoy Shadecraft. I enjoyed the artwork. I enjoyed the premise, but I do think that you're right. I like it enough where I think I'm going to read it in trade, but I'm probably going to pass on the single issues. But I do think that it will be a good, interesting all ages read.
E-Man did just pull. It felt like a watered down Something is Killing the Children. We've been seeing that a lot lately with comic companies. I feel like trying to bank on the success of Something is Killing the Children. Shadecraft definitely is one of those books that just misses the mark.
I think that in a lot of ways, books.
It felt like more teen romp drama than like teen romp drama CW than it felt like actual horror that we see with Something is Killing the Children. Because if we think about Something is Killing the Children, those first 3 pages are horrifying, and we get that big splash page of just the monster absolutely ripping apart one of the kids, and that, like, okay, I get the tone of this book. This book is taking no prisoners. We're going into it. Shadecraft, it's like,
rumor has it Netflix picked it up, so issue 1 is already doing more than cover. I appreciate that, because I think I picked up like 2 variants in like 2 or 3 of the first issues. So when I actually finally get off my ass and sell all my like back issues that I don't want anymore, then it's over for you bitches. I'll have enough money to finally buy House of Secrets.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. Were there any other Image books that see?
That's the only other Image books I have. I don't think anything else really came out.
There's one book on my list, and I purposely saved it for last because it was legitimately like one of my favorite reads of the week and of the month. I need a million issues of this. It's Ultra Mega. And,
really?
I loved this book.
I expected. I thought you were going to bring out Nottingham. Let's be honest.
Really, I liked. I didn't have Nottingham right here, by Mad Cave right here, but I really did enjoy Ultra Mega a lot. I love like big like kaiju monsters and shit, and this was just so good. The artwork was incredible. It's a big book for an issue number 1. It's like $7.99 for this, but it's a pretty, you can't really see it from there, but compared to other books, it is pretty thick. My comic shop, the one that I normally go to, all of their copies were damaged, so I ended up like the following week picking up another issue number 1 and then the variant, and I love it so much. It's so good.
I'll have to pick it up now.
If you like big monsters, but I feel like they're controlled by people, and you can see these people like going like they get big and then they get small, and it's really cool. It's weird, wacky sci-fi, and I love it.
Kind of reminds me of Colossal with Anne Hathaway. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's what that reminds me of.
That's exactly, because they're like controlled in that way. Oh, so good. So that's pretty much all of the books that I had that were number 1 issues from last week that I went ahead and grabbed and talked about.
It was a lot. March was like, I was thinking, March was not that big, because we came off of February, and February was absolutely huge and massive, and I think blew us all away.
Yeah.
March, thinking it over, I was like, oh, there's not that much, and then you sent me the list, and I was like pulling stuff, and I'm like, JK, there actually was a lot. And looking at my ratings, because if you guys don't know, me and Jen have a little spreadsheet that we send back and forth. We do little, number things, but the numbers don't matter. I was actually surprised looking at it how many I actually liked versus disliked, because you think about it, books like Noctara came out, like Berserker. I'm like, okay, this was bad. Everything from Image stunk this month, aside from Ultra Mega. I
really liked Ultra Mega.
Everything from Image kind of stunk this month, other than that one book. But then looking at, books from Marvel, books from DC, like DC really, we saw the start of Infinite Frontier, and I feel like I don't know, man, maybe we're seeing a change. Hopefully, maybe.
Hopefully. Especially because I know I haven't been as interested in a lot of DC stuff. So let's go ahead, and since that's pretty much the rundown of the stuff from last month, from March, let's go ahead and let's talk about things that are coming out in June.
So if you go to previewsworld.com, this is not sponsored, by the way. Previewsworld.com has the entire solicitation catalog listed up. It has all of the release dates, all of the descriptions, which we are talking about, creators, the codes that you need for your comic shop. Definitely, if any of these titles, pique your interest, let them know. So you can have them pre-ordered, because pre-ordering at a comic shop, if you don't know, is super, super important.
For sure.
Uh,
So since we just ended with Image, do you want to go ahead and start with Image?
yeah, absolutely. We can
Okay.
go ahead with Image. So there's two things from Image coming out that I'm kind of just going to gloss over because I feel like they feel very, you know, understandable. The first one is we're getting another Jupiter's Legacy. This is Jupiter's Legacy Requiem from Mark Miller, who I learned recently. It is not Mark Millar. It is Mark Miller. So I've been lied to my whole life.
Okay.
But it's Mark Miller and Tommy Lee Edwards. Can we be honest? The only reason why we're getting this is because the Netflix show is coming out. We just got the trailer for that. So,
Yeah.
of course, they're going to ride that hype while they can.
And one of the things that I think is so not weird, but I feel like Jupiter's Legacy. I do have to say this: Jupiter's Legacy, the show looks almost better than the comic because the comic is good and it goes
I've
into
never
that like
read it.
it's a lot. There's 4 books, and I feel like it does get a little bit almost Grant Morrison-y, but I think that the show is going to be better than how I remember the books.
Which, I mean, is very possible because we look at something like The Boys. The Boys, the show, is way better than the comics ever was. So it's
For
very
sure.
possible. And Mark Miller's got this whole weird Netflix deal right now where, you know, they've got exclusive rights to all of his projects. Personally, I want to see them bring Empress to the table because that is a book
Yes.
that nobody fucking talks about. Empress, and it's probably the best thing he's ever done. Sorry, I'm gonna say that. So we're getting Jupiter's Legacy. We're also getting from Image Comics. We're getting Spawn Universe,
Yep.
which is great if you like Spawn. I guess I don't.
Here's what I have to say about this. I'm kind of excited for Spawn Universe, and the only reason why is because I know that in Solid Blood 17, this is where we're going to finally see my crossover Solid Blood. It's all going to come together because in all reality, this whole Spawn universe was announced months ago in Solid Blood 17 because we do get to see like a weird Spawn character, and it's all going to come to fruition, and hopefully the value just goes up and I'll be like, gotcha, bitches.
Gotcha. So that's like boring stuff from Image, and Image really did not have that much coming out. So the other things that they did have coming out were it's called Compass by Robert Mckenzie and Dave Walker. This one kind of feels like an Indiana Jones story, but set in the Middle East with Middle Eastern cultures and traditions. So I think it's going to be kind of fun and a really good ride. It could be a really cool all ages story. So we'll see with that one.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about it. I think it'll be interesting, and especially because I see Dave Walker is attached to it, so I'm here for that.
Next, we have the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. This is done by Kyle Starks and Chris Schweizer. I'm going to premise this morning. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Personally, I'm actually really excited for this. So Kyle Starks did one of my other favorite series from Image, Assassination, which was just quirky, balls to the wall fun that didn't make sense, but had a lot of jokes, and it was just fun. This feels like it's going into that same sort of vibe. So it has to deal with this unlikable action star who finds out that, he's dead, and now his 6 sidekicks are trying to solve the mystery. So if I know Kyle Starks and I know the way that he writes books, it's just going to be a lot of just fun, quirky jokes and dumb action humor. So I'm really, really excited for that.
I honestly feel like maybe this is just after having read whatchamacallit, 7 Secrets, I feel like it'll be as fun as 7 Secrets.
It might be. Have you ever read Assassination?
I think I started reading issue 1, but never finished the series.
I need you to read it because that is by far one of my all-time favorite series from Image Comics, and I feel like I have read it like 7 times, and it's only been out for about 2 years. It's just that damn good for me. So I can't wait to see more of what Kyle Starks does because I do like a lot of his work. I mean, he's a super chill dude, so I'll support whatever he does. Yep. That's pretty much it for Image. Surprisingly, the publisher that I feel like is really taking it home, and I had mentioned this to you when I was doing our previews list, Dark Horse. And I think I had said a couple weeks ago, it feels like Dark Horse is publishing these heavy hitters. So we had Crimson Flower, we had Barbalian, Orphan and the Five Beasts, and
Fear
then with
Case.
Fear Case, and then with previews, looking at the list, I'm like,
yeah,
I might have like spoken something to existence here that Dark Horse is taking it home. So we'll start right off the bat. Black Hammer is continuing on, which I'm on the fence of like, do I want it? Do I not want it? Because it's like Barbalian was so good that I'll take 20 of that. Yeah. But this is Black Hammer Reborn, so it is done with Jeff Lemire and Caitlin Yarsky. This is supposed to be set 20 years after the Black Hammer mainline title. So it follows Lucy, who is the daughter of Black Hammer, and I don't think I ever finished Black Hammer, but I believe she takes up her father's mantle. And it's supposed to be her kind of, you know, that whole family dynamic. Her family is sort of falling apart. She needs to jump back into the superhero suit. So the Black Hammer universe has been consistently good with everything that it puts out, and surprisingly enough, it does not feel like it's being drawn out. Like, I know I say that where we look at Black Hammer and we see all of these titles and spinoffs, but everything that we've seen so far has been consistently solid. So this should be a good one.
I feel like I do recommend Black Hammer for a lot of people because it's like that super, if you have that superhero fatigue where you feel like you've seen every single superhero story that's ever been done. So I do feel like it's a really good entry point for new comic book readers without being like, you've got to read Superman. You've got to read, you know, so I do love because in all reality, the Black Hammer universe goes into the superhero mythos, but makes them a lot more relatable. So 100%, please read at least the first volume of Black Hammer, and please read Barbalian.
Yep.
There's my pitch.
Read them 100%. This one I put on the list simply for me. Let's be honest. It's Apex Legends Overtime. Listen, I love Apex Legends. I have sank so many goddamn hours into that game, and I've been joking for like years. We need an Apex Legends comic because they recently did an Overwatch comic, which is another game that I've sunk way too many hours in. And I'm just mad that Dark Horse did not come to me to write their Apex Legends comic. Because listen, I got some ideas. Again, I'm not saying everybody's going to pick this up, but if you play the game, like, there's some really great characters. It's got some really great lore. I'm going to have fun with this. It's simple as that. So we're also getting Imogen of Wording Way. This is a one-shot from Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden, and Peter Bergton. This just seems like your average, like, not Hellboy story, but it's what we come to expect from Mike Mignola. So when I was looking at it and looking at the covers, it kind of reminds me of like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Ooh, okay.
In the Hellboy universe, maybe. Because again, I don't know if it's tied into the Hellboy universe or the Lady Baltimore stuff, because I know Mike is, you know, attached to that. But first of all, it's a one shot, and the cover to me just seems really cool. You got all those really cool characters. Again, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen style, where they're different like creatures from mythos and bounty hunters and this and that. So I'll pick it up for it being a one shot. For sure. And it's probably going to be that like maybe $6.99 price point, which $7 to read a one shot, like especially Mike Mignola. 100%. Not too bad. We have Parasomnia. Parasomnia. I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
So like insomnia, parasomnia.
Parasomnia.
Because it's about the dude that has nightmares, like nightmare dreamscapes.
Yeah, so he's got nightmare dreamscapes, and he's gotten involved with the cult and this and that, and he has to figure out the difference between dreams and realities. It's another Cullen Bunn title. Cullen Bunn, which you'll see a lot on this list, I've noticed. Like, I feel like that man pumps out stories left and right, but I feel like I don't think there's ever been a Cullen Bunn story where I'm like, yeah, I want to recommend this to like 20 different people. This is the best thing I've ever read. I just feel like he's kind of subpar. I feel like there's some books that come out, but I definitely feel like Cullen Bunn has a very subtle horror writing style, right? So in the way that it's like not necessarily middle of the pack, because I feel like Cullen Bunn could easily be Scott Snyder, right? Like where
I don't want to say mediocre, but mediocre.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too rough, but that's how I feel on
Yeah.
that one too. Next from Dark Horse, because remember, guys, we're still in Dark Horse because Dark Horse is apparently just publishing stuff the way that Image used to. We have Secret Land.
Oh.
I don't know how I feel about this one because it's like Hitler and like people are fighting and then they fall in love and they've escaped like Nazi Germany. I don't know. It seems really fucking weird. I don't know if you're into that sort of stuff and history and romance and stuff.
I think it could be interesting. I'll definitely pick up the first issue, but I don't know. I'll have to read the first issue. And
It's
then,
either going to be really, really great or it's going to be really, really cringy. I feel like it's going to swing. It's on that side of the pendulum right now. And then the last thing that we have from Dark Horse is it's called Worst Dudes, which I think seems kind of fun. So this is by Aubrey Sitterson and Tony Gregori. It has to deal with a dirty cop, a drugged up backup dancer, an angsty adolescent god. You know, it's supposed to just be this like raunchy comedy action sort of book. So
yeah,
kind of reminiscent of that Kyle Starks book that I was talking about, where it could just be kind of really dumb humor, but really like adult dumb humor. And I love books like that.
See, I feel like when I saw Worst Dudes, I immediately went to Scumbag. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm going to like this book. I feel like it's going to be a more palatable version of Scumbag, but I did not like Scumbag whatsoever.
Do you think it could be a more stylistic version of Scumbag where it's got this like unique, vibrant art style and these like weird, quirky characters?
Maybe, even if I think if it's more character driven, and I think I'm okay with characters that I don't necessarily like, but hi Puff.
Howdy.
Howdy, you're doing a Far Sector stream tonight, covering the first 11 issues. One of my favorite series, so definitely looking forward to that.
But that is everything from Dark Horse. I guess I'll kind of jump over to the big two. Yeah. So starting with Marvel, we've got Demon Days, Mariko #1, which we were talking about. So this is technically the second out of 5, but each story is so self-contained and is a reimagining of the Marvel universe. So this one is going to focus on, I believe it's going to focus on Black Widow.
Okay.
So seeing how Peach Momoko has already transformed Psylocke, and Venom was in that as well, and so was Danny Moonstar. Yep. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like that, like an Easter egg hunt almost, where it's like, ooh, what characters are we reimagining now, and how beautiful was Peach Momoko going to make them, and I just love that type of book.
Especially, oh my God, thanks for calling me out, John. So I think that when it does come to Demon Days and where we got to see X-Men, I think this one's going to be Avengers, because it's going to be like supposedly with Black Widow. So I would really like to see, like, you know, maybe the next one will be Fantastic Four and like where they go into like this reinventing of the Marvel mythos.
Okay.
So yeah, John, I feel like I either love something or I hate things.
There's no in between with Jen.
Yeah. Thank you, John, for calling me out. Next on the list for Marvel is one that I feel like I'm actually kind of excited for. The what is it, Gamma Flight?
Gamma Flight. I don't know anything about Gamma Flight. I know it has to deal with the Hulk. I know it's like a Hulky university type book, a Hulk family book, if you will. But what makes me kind of excited about Gamma Flight, probably the same reason you are, is it is being written by Al Ewing, but I feel like his name is just there for the sake of Al Ewing. It is being written by Crystal Frazier, who is a trans writer. So I feel like that's kind of a big deal for Marvel. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there has been trans writers at Marvel before. I believe Sophie Campbell has done some work for Marvel, and she is a trans artist. But I mean, listen, give trans people comic work, y'all. Yep. We need more representation. So Gamma Flight, I don't know. Are you familiar with Gamma? I know you're more familiar with Marvel. Are you familiar with Gamma Flight at all, or we're just going to pick it up? Because
I'm just going to pick it up. Yeah.
Okay. That's a reason. That is literally a reason to pick up a book, y'all. And I'm not saying that to be, snide or anything like that, but it's like supporting these marginalized voices proves to Marvel, hey, yeah, we want more of this. We're also getting, and we see this from DC too, but Marvel Voices Pride, which I know we are both ridiculously excited for. It's an anthology series in the vein of, they did the other Marvel Voices for Black History Month. And I believe they did one for Asian Americans, I think. I might be mistaken.
I think I did see something about that, yeah.
But it's all queer stories. And listen, Marvel's got a lot of, when I think about it, Marvel's got way more queer representation than DC has. So my little queer baby heart is very excited for that.
Very, very excited, especially because we're getting like stories.
We're getting stories. And I believe that most of the people writing and doing the art for these stories is queer as well, or is on that spectrum somewhere along the line. We've got another X-Men title. So there's a lot of stuff from Marvel that I didn't showcase because I'm not going to sit here and talk about every single tie-in for Heroes Reborn, because there are a lot of tie-ins for Heroes Reborn. I think the most exciting one is maybe that Gwen Stacy title, but it also feels like they're shoving her into every event possible, which is okay because you really liked the King in Black one.
I did. And I do think that I like this idea of Heroes Reborn because it's almost like a what if type story. And I actually really like the what if stories. So if Heroes Reborn is anything like that, then I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good time.
One. Yep. But the last thing that I do have for Marvel is I do have Planet-Sized X-Men #1. So X-Men, they tend to do events. We saw Swords of X. With June, we are seeing the Hellfire Gala, however you want to pronounce it. So that is being spread throughout all of the X-Men titles. And then this Planet-Sized X-Men is sort of to pull that all together.
Yeah.
I know I personally am going to be spending a lot of money on all of the Emma Frost covers for the Hellfire Gala.
All of the covers. All of the covers.
The covers are absolutely gorgeous. So I'm not reading, Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. I'm on record of saying that I don't really care for it, but I will definitely be looking into this Hellfire Gala, whatever.
I can definitely see how the way that the trades came out for those series was really confusing because it was like Dawn of X #1, and I think that's what you read. And Dawn of X 1 is literally like the #1 of all of the issues that were coming out. So if you read that, it's super confusing.
But that's everything that I have for Marvel. I know that you sometimes will stick stuff on there. Am I missing anything for Marvel?
Not that I can think of. Sorry, I gotta make room for this little dude. That's all that I really saw. I know that I don't know when it's coming out, but there was another X-Men book that's like X-Men Capitalism, and I was just like, I am not here for it.
Oh, X-Core? I thought that was coming out last month.
Maybe it is. So I just that was the only other thing that was on my brain, and I'm like,
X-Core.
Yeah.
Or Capitalism X-Men. So I guess we'll jump over to DC, which surprisingly had a lot of stuff. DC, so we're seeing Infinite Frontier #1. I guess this is sort of like the mainline title spreading across Infinite Frontier, and we're going to see all of these new characters or old characters we haven't seen before. I don't know. I'm tired of these big ass events. I'm tired of Joshua Williamson getting every single big DC title. I'm sorry, I've said it. I feel like Joshua Williamson is the new Scott Snyder without having the rep that Scott Snyder has. Because like if we think about Scott Snyder and his fanboys, they like sharks to the water with how much they love Scott Snyder, whereas Josh Williamson is getting every single title but doesn't have that fan base per se. I don't know. It's my hot take on that.
I think not necessarily that I'm like not excited for this. I really don't know how I feel about this, especially because it's like, is it undoing everything that was done in the death metal series? Is it like, where is it going? So I
think the real question is, how does death metal play into anything at all, and why wasn't it just its own multiverse?
Yeah,
that's the real question.
Yep.
So we have that
animation.
So we have that. We have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by my favorite person in the universe, Tom King, with art by Bilquis Evely. I love Evely's art. She does absolutely gorgeous art on Wonder Woman, so I'm excited to see her sort of jump into a book like Supergirl. I'm kind of curious to see where Tom King's gonna go with this, because, you know, Supergirl, being the cool teenager she is, reminds me of how Tom King wrote another teenager named Gotham Girl, and how it was kind of bad. So I'm a little hesitant on this one, but as the Tom King stan, I will definitely be picking up the first issue.
As long as he doesn't do the whole like flash forward, flash backwards, like just give me one fucking storyline, Tom King.
Give us one storyline and that's it.
Yeah.
Like Marvel, we are getting DC Pride, which is another anthology for all of their DC Comics characters. We're also getting a bunch of variants across all of the titles, which I still need to bring up that, you know, Catwoman, who you claimed was bisexual years and years and years ago, is like the one person that doesn't have a queer pride variant, and she doesn't have any story. So I think at this point we're just burying the fact that y'all made Catwoman bisexual, and I'm forever mad about that, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. So good. So good.
We're used to it by now.
I'm fine. We are getting a Crush and Lobo series, which I think could just be a lot of fun. That's being done,
written by Mariko
Tamaki. So I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. I think those, like, that dad-daughter story where you're both kind of just awful people getting into chaos, could just be a lot of fun. We will see. And then, of course, we're getting Batman's fucking series, because why do we need two more fucking... I can't even say it. Why do we need two more Batman stories, DC? I'm fucking tired. Stop giving us new Batman series. Actually greenlight fun, interesting stories like, I don't know, Justice League Queer, instead of putting it into a fun fucking round robin where it gets beat out in the first round because you pit it against a Bat Family book like a fucking idiot. Sorry, I'm gonna stop. We talked about that last week, so if you want to see more on that rant, go see it. But we're getting Batman Reptilian, which is being written by Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize that it's still fucking 2006.
Yeah.
That literally is like a lineup for 2006. I'm fully convinced that this is a script from 2006, and DC's like, well, we need a Batman book. Let's just greenlight it. We're also getting Batman the Animated Adventures Season 2, which is kind of exciting. I do like Batman the Animated Adventures, so I feel like that is a lot of fun for a lot of people. I know with the first series, they bought in characters that, you know, weren't around when the animated series was out, so we got to see characters like Jason Todd kind of be adapted into that animated series style. So I think that that's kind of cool. But again, I don't need another Batman book. Might as well just keep going with my shitty rants against DC, because we've got Event Leviathan Checkmate #1 written by Brian Michael Bendis. And
here's the thing, I'm kind of excited about this one. I wasn't like a big like Event Leviathan fan, but I do like to see this like team up. I like to see like Lois Lane, Question. You're like shaking your head. I'm still going to pick it up, and I'm still going to talk about it.
Well, I'm going to pick it up because there's a fucking sexy as hell Green Arrow variant, and that's how they knew they had to get me to buy this book. But here's my thoughts on it. Nobody liked Event Leviathan. When I was working in the shop, that book, we couldn't get anybody to buy it. That book was awful. Second of all, I am fully convinced that, because this book was supposed to come out a while ago, and it's now finally coming out.
Yeah.
I am fully convinced that this book is why we don't have a new Green Arrow ongoing, because currently Brian Michael Bendis is holding Green Arrow hostage in Event Leviathan and Checkmate.
Yeah.
So that's just my thoughts on it. I'm fully convinced, because it's been about 3 years since we've gotten one, and just release Green Arrow. Let him, because right now Brian Michael Bendis has the monopoly on Oliver Queen. You know, he's got him in Justice League right now. He's got him in Event Leviathan. Just release my boy. But speaking of which, we're getting the Green Arrow anniversary special, which I've already cried about on this channel, because I'm getting, you know, Connor Hawke and Mia Dearden back. I'm going to be a dumb bitch and buy all the covers at a $9.99 price point.
Yeah.
So
at least it seems like it's a big book. So that'll be really nice.
Rip me, I guess. Wonder Woman Black and Gold. which is another anthology series in the vein of Superman Red, White, and Blue and Batman Black and White. I like the idea of this. However, I've got two problems with it. A, we already have a really, really great Wonder Woman anthology series with Sensational Comics Wonder Woman. So I feel like you're doubling down, and I'm now worried. You know, we're going to kind of split the stories and how good that they are. My other problem with it is, why is it Wonder Woman black and gold? So when we look at Batman Black and White, that makes sense. When we look at Superman Red, White, and Blue, that makes sense. I had bought this up on Twitter and I was talking about it with a couple of people, and I feel like something like red and gold might have been way better, or blue and gold.
Because maybe like the lasso and like, I guess like all of the accessories. That's
gold definitely needs to stay in there. I totally agree with the gold, but I feel like black, when we think about Wonder Woman, I think of her vibrancy, and I think of, you know, I don't think black when I think Wonder Woman. I think red, I think blue, you know, make it one of those. And I just feel like if we got like a maroon, because when we think about these stories, you know, and as they come out, they're monochromatic stories, which is really, really great. And I just feel like the black and gold is going to be boring for a Diana book. So y'all fucked up on that one, but
I think it'll be fun. We do have some non-big ones to go through, but I have run out of time this morning. So there are a couple other books that we can maybe talk about next week, because there are some books from Vault, and maybe we'll go a little bit more into those. Boom Studios. But
there's a couple other big books that I think that we should talk about, and we talked way too much, and
we talked not too much. It's just this is, I've gotta go make that dumb bitch money before I spend it. So it has been a very, I know I'm like cutting it like really, really short, and but it has been a wonderful Sunday morning. Thank you for everyone for coming to church this morning, comic book church this Sunday. Mars, do you have anything planned on your channel? Or I know you were talking about C-List.
I have the stuff with C-List that should be coming out when we film it. I believe we're doing that this week or next week. I am supposed to be filming a big New 52 retrospective, because I realized it is the 10th anniversary of the New 52, which is both the best thing because it got me into comics, but also the worst thing because I realized how bad it actually is. And I also realized that Dan Didio is the spawn of evil and is the whole reason why the New 52 was as bad as it was, but more on that later. So yeah, I've got some big stuff planned.
Beautiful. You can catch me here on Sundays, and you can also catch me on Hero and the Kid on Fridays, and then a little bit of everywhere, like other points of the week. But it has been a very beautiful, wonderful Sunday. So much. Thank you to everyone in the chat. The chat needs their own comic book. Happy Sunday. Sunday Comic Church is the best. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Bye.
Bye.